Okay. We might be live now. Let's see. Now that's fun because that's the keyboard player playing on a digital accordion sound, along with the accordion player, Mary Mexicano, who we watch a whole lot on this live stream. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second of the 5 live streams of Christmas. 5 weeks of Christmas, like 12 days of Christmas. I'm not at the normal Rising Reed Studios. If there is a normal Rising, I guess the normal Rising Reed Studios has been in Pennsylvania. Then there's the satellite Rising Reed Studios, which is in the Mojave Desert near Joshua Tree, California. And now I'm not there. I'm like kind of outside LA, staying at a friend's house, just to get out of the house. You know, it's cool. So this is where we're at today. I got a little bit of a new setup for the stream. So I bought like an interface to go from my digital camera into the laptop. So I'm really curious to hear from you guys if the video quality looks better, because on my side it does, but I haven't done a stream with it yet. So it's a much better camera. Oh shit, as I pull everything off, but I didn't. But yeah, there's kind of wires all over the place. Anyway, the video looks super good. Okay, woohoo! That's great. Okay, glad to hear it. And let's see, what else? Everything else is just about the same. Oh, you know what? I did get, Anne says it looks good. Okay, that's great. I got a different iPad actually for Black Friday sale. Because my iPad, I've had it since, let's see, I think technically I got it during right at the beginning of COVID, but that's because I shattered the iPad that I had when I was in Brooklyn. I bought this iPad because I was subbing for Vitor Gonçalves on some of the shows for Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish. Hey Zev, what's happening, man? And he's like, well, if you want to do this job, you should probably get an iPad and put the score on there and then get the foot pedal. to change the pages. So I did that, and then I learned how to do that, and then so I had everything. Anyways, that iPad is just, I was thinking it only had like 32 gigs of storage, and the like more than half, it was like an insane amount of the storage was taken up on the iPad, was taken up with just the operating system and other stuff like that. It wouldn't even let me like update it. And I barely had anything on it. Mostly I had like 7 or 8 gigs of like PDFs of sheet music. Which like out of 32 gigs, that's a quarter, I guess. But anyways, so I got the the iPad Pro Air, the iPad Air, which is like not the Pro, because the Pro is now like the price of a laptop, which is wild. I had no idea. I'm a millennial, so I'm definitely an iPad kind of. I'm a computer. I'm a laptop person, is what I'm trying to say here. But anyway, check this out. So when we get to this in a second, let's see. We got that, and I can make this a little bit bigger if I want, and then I should be able to. Let's see. I think I gotta get this. Gotta get this there. Oh no! Shoot. Wow, that's okay. Hang on. That's so funny. Okay. Here, I'll fix it. Give me 1 second here, guys. There. Then we'll make this larger. Yeah, just like that. I think that's good. So then, when I mark it up like this, let's see, is that going to do it? Yeah, we got it. Okay, that's cool. But you know what? The toolbar thing is not showing. So let's see. How do I get that there? There we go. Okay. And undo. Perfect. Okay. So our stuff's all set up. Let's watch one more tune. This one's from, this is one I found over the weekend. Niku Elvis is from 2 months ago, but we haven't watched this one, I don't think. I thought that this guy was Niku Elvis, because if it's featuring Niku Elvis and then the thumbnail that the video chooses that guy, don't you think that guy looks like Niku Elvis? I do, but it's not. Oh wait, you're not even seeing it. Here, there you go. Okay, right there's Niku Elvis's name large in the bottom corner too. But guess what? This gentleman with all the drip is not Niku Elvis. I don't know who he is. In fact, maybe if we put on the subtitles to translate Romanian, we'll know. He's either like the patron, like the guy who hired them for the party, or like whatever. I don't know. Anyway, let's watch some of this video. It's fun.
Cu mătrul meu, Nicușor, Elvis, și prietenul meu drag, de atâția ani, am și o mare rugăminte să-mi cânt și mie o melodie. Dacă tot facem filmările astea pentru oamenii care trebuie să se regăsească și ei, dar scanează-mă puțin și cântăm și mie o melodie care consider că mi s-ar potrivi mie, am atâta încredere și bază, pentru că tu ești un om cu o viziune, cu un orizont atât de mare, de atâția ani, ai intrat la sufletele tuturor oamenilor. Te rog mult de tot, o melodie alături de întreg taraful.
Cu mare drag pentru cumătrul meu, Dan Bursuc, omul cu cel mai mare suflet, care niciodată n-a știut să spună nu. Cine a apelat la el, a ajutat pe toată lumea. Fie bun, fie rău. El, la dușmani, le-a răspuns cu bine. Și el știe foarte bine că eu mă pricep și cred că
This is the same jacket that you get when the Masters, right? The golf tournament. You get that green jacket.
melodia care urmează îl caracterizează cel mai bine pe Dan Bursuc, împreună cu fratele meu de viață, Marian Mexicanu, și formația lui. Ia auzi. Ia să fii atenție. Dar fi lumea cum sunt eu, lume, lume, n-ar mai fi pe lume rău, lume, lume, că eu de când m-am născut rău la nimeni n-am făcut, doar bine, dar că-am putut, lume draga mea. Am putut, am făcut bine, că așa-i sufletul din mine, nu mi-l poate schimba nimeni, lume draga mea. Hai băieții, vioara albastră! ce, Doamne, mai trăiesc, lume draga mea.
Welcome, Nomad Farmer.
Să duc grija banilor, de placul dușmanilor, mai bine
Look at that super long chain.
lume draga mea. Haide, mă! Diana albastră, cu mătrul meu, tambur suc și fratele meu de viață. Atmosferă plăcută cu Marian Mexicanu, cu mătrul meu, tambur suc, melodia care îl caracterizează, omul cu cel mai mare suflet. Și pentru toți ascultătorii și privitorii noștri. Te auzi? Ținem, Doamne, zilele, lume, lume, cât mă țin puterile, lume, lume, când nu mai pot să muncesc, să beau și să chefuiesc. La ce, Doamne?
Alright, that's just one I found over the weekend that I wanted to share. Pretty fun. Alright, everybody. So we're on week 2 of the 5 live streams of Christmas, or live stream 2, I should say. And what we're going to do is, let's see if I can get out of this. I'm on the wrong tune now. Okay, there we go. We're going to go through 2 tunes today. And if there's other time, then we'll listen to music and stuff. But the purpose of the series is taking holiday tunes. So far it's Christmas. Although somebody just sent me Oh Hanukkah. So I think we'll, on a future one, we'll do that. And maybe if there's if I can think of some other Hanukkah tunes. But today is 2 more Christmas tunes. Oh Holy Night, and then Frosty the Snowman, which is essentially not like, I don't think it It's not really, it's secular, isn't it, the tune? I can't verify that in the lyrics, but you know, still, it's not secular in the sense of anybody would ever play it outside of the Christmas season. Anyways, with no further ado, let's check out Oh Holy Night. So the first thing that I notice when I see this tune, and I'm curious, let's see, let me get the chat on the page too. Where are you guys? Chat box. I just gotta drag this up in front of the webcam, I think. There we go. All right, see if I can see the chat. Frosty is for all the people. Thank you. That's true. Okay, left-hand mic sounds good. Problem with the right-hand mic is I think it's going to distort. I really should just plug straight in. I'll probably do that in the future because this accordion does have mics in it. But let's see how distorted this is. That's distorted. So the problem is my voice. Let's see. Let me bring this closer to my face. It's just a drag. Okay. Anyways, these would be things to fix before you start the stream, Dallas. Okay. Take the gain down to, let's see. Take it down to 35. Let's see how loud this is now. I don't hear distortion, so let me know, you guys. I'll try to keep my eyes peeled here. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple things. I promised. I'm doing it this way so you can see more of the score. I'll just scroll. And the first thing I want to do is just like figure out the feel or the groove. So when I think of this tune, I think of like a 6/8 or a 12/8 feel. Ding ding ding. Oh holy night, the stars dum dum dum, ding da dee dee dum. Right? I wonder, does everybody feel that? You know that groove? I do. It's not how this song is written, and I'm guessing maybe this is from the Easy Christmas Fake book. So maybe they thought like it's just simpler. So this is subdivided into 16th notes, which is a division of the beat into 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 bum beep bum. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 ding ding 4 1 2 3 4 1. that's not how I feel it. So I'm gonna put it into like a 3 feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That might be the first thing I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's always weird with that extra 2 beats there. Let's see. Sounds too high. So just kind of feeling it out and feeling the accompaniment pattern. If I was to kind of play what's written, there's no left hand written. It's a lead sheet. It's a fake book. But let me go down here, or maybe I'll just step back. Step back a little bit. Don't break the glass window. To me, I feel like it lacks some of the subdivisions that like give it more of that like if I had a free bass, I might try to play that. You know, this is just a Stradella instrument. So kind of thinking accompaniment wise, could I do a like I kind of like that. That's one that I kind of prefer, and it gives us motion and interest, but at the same time it's mellow because I'm playing sort of lightly and keeping the chords real simple. So there's sort of one place to start here. Another place to start, or the next thing to do here, is to like analyze the harmonies, and that's something that I referenced in our last week's live stream. I just kind of jumped straight into it, and thinking about today, I was like, you know what I should do is I should give a quick analysis here to show you guys how I think. So let's see. Let's use green and maybe a more saturated green, or rather a green with more black in it. Okay, so here I'm going to put the Roman numerals because that's how I think about harmony. I think that's the best way to think about harmony. So we're in the key of C. We know that because of the key center, all the notes that are used in the melody, and all the chords. If we look at the chords, that it's starts on C, ends on C, all that sort of stuff. So C is our 1 chord, and it really bugs me when a chart just kind of. It's really the convention that if you see a measure without a chord symbol, it's the chord symbol from the previous measure. It's just a pain if you want to scan around or jump around. So I like to put them in there. So I'm going to go this far. And now I'm going to start like labeling. We have a couple like key centers in here, which I'm just kind of, I'm not going to do a whole theory class here because I offer those periodically. And also it would just take too much time, but I'm just going to like kind of show you my thinking. So the first like sort of progression we have is like 1, 4, and back to 1. And then here you have 1, 5, 1. And then it sort of repeats, and it's gonna, here's like where the theme repeats there. But it changes, and this is a very common compositional like technique, is to repeat the thematic material, but on the repeat of it, you change it, you make it go somewhere else. So that's what's going to happen. And so instead of having our little 1-4-1, 1-5-1 here that we have, and on the accordion it's really easy to transpose. 1, 4, you go down a column, and 1 you go back up, and 1-5-1. And we could do that in any key. These are, you can't really get any easier chords than these, at least the first 2 lines. But this is where, in my opinion, in the view of Rising Reed Accordion School, this is where we want to get to. This is how, this way of talking about it accurately describes how humans experience tonality. Human beings who don't have absolute pitch. I can't speak for those people. I think something else is going on there. But for all of us that have relative pitch, which is most of us, this is what's going on. We're hearing in terms of relationships. So labeling our music in terms of those relationships, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 1 chord, and then doing work to practice it and think that way, hear that way, all that sort of stuff is the way. It's the way to be. So this is all in the key of the 1. And so I'm going to add this little roof thing over this, because all this stuff is in the key of the 1. But then when we get to here, we're going to go into a new key center for a second. And many songs have more than 1 key center. So let's get to there in a second. But for now, I'm just going to put a Roman numeral 1 like that. Oh, wait, I wanted it to be pink. Hang on a second. There's pink. Okay. And that just shows that this whole chord progression is happening in the key of the 1. And this is where we start to get like this sort of Russian nesting doll of multiple things happening that we need to keep track of. So this song is going to have chord progressions in the key of the 1. So that means that like if the song is played in the key of C major, which it is right now, the song is in the key of C major. So I'm playing with another musician, especially a singer. I want to find the right key for them so it fits their voice. And so we can transpose, or, we just play songs in different keys. So thinking relatively lets me think like, oh, okay, if I'm playing in the key of G, then the 1 chord is G, or for all these sections that have progressions in the key of the 1, the 1 is going to be G in this case. But in more complex music, in much music, you have more than 1 key center. So it means that there's an overall key, like this, in this case, the overall key that we choose here is the key of C. Music is movable, so it could be a different key, but it is the key of C. And we have chord progressions. All the pink and green that I labeled are in the key of C. Moving forward here, you'll see that E minor and B7 especially, it's obviously not in the key of C. And we have, so this is a 1-5-1 in the key of E minor. So I'm going to label those. When you have a 1 that's a minor chord, it's a lowercase I. So like this, and then the 5, and then back to the 1. Why did that turn purple? Because I'm bumping. Okay. And then I'm going to label that. Let's see. Let's pick a different color. Let's do blue for this second key center. And this does get a little complex, but it's super helpful, and it organizes all the information, and it gives us, we're labeling things that we're hearing, So if you say, okay, and then if this is a song, right? Those are chord progressions, a 1 and a 5 and a 1, in a single key center, so the key center of C. And then a 1-5-1 in the key center of E minor. And then maybe we go back to the key center of C, like we do in this song. Right? So it's like sort of two layers of things. One layer is just labeling them with the Roman numerals. In this case, it's a 1 and a 5 and a 1 in major, and then a 1 and a 5 and the 1 in minor. But then we have this numbering system that gives us a way to list their relationship together. So we have the first chord progressions, like in this song, are happening in the key of the 1. So if we're in the key of C, 1, oh, let me do black. In the key of C, 1 equals C. And in the key of C, we have this, which is the key of the 3. And so if you count from C, 1, 2, 3, 3 is E, right? And that's how I knew. I'm skipping the steps to make you learn it, but I'm just showing how this all kind of fits together. So 3 equals E minor. So we have chord progression. It was really 1, 4, 1. And then 1, 5, 1. And then 1, 4, 1. All in the key of C. So I just quickly zipped through the chords for the first 3 lines until we get to that Roman numeral 3 in the circle. Then we have a quick chord progression, 1, 5, 1, in the key of E minor. So this labeling stuff is super powerful, and it also lets us transpose. So if I want to transpose to the key of G, I do the same thing. I just follow the formula, 1, 4, 1, key of G, and then 1, 5, 1. I'm missing some Roman numerals here on the second half, so let me put those in there. 1, and 1, 4, and 1. There we go. So I can do it again. And now in the key of G, to transpose it, I need to figure out what is the key of the 3 in G. So at the beginning, it'll take me a minute, so I gotta go G is 1, A is 2. Oh, 3 is B minor, okay. So can I do a 1, 5, 1 in B minor? On the left hand of the accordion, I certainly can. And then we're gonna go back, we'll see in a minute when we label that. So, oh, it's getting kind of high. Oh, holy night. I'm in the key G. You get the idea. So much easier, and even a benefit even beyond being able to transpose it is that you get a much better ear because you have a system for labeling what you're hearing. So when you hear songs and they're moving to different chromatic things, the more you practice, the more that your ear has labeled it, and then you can go, hey, that's that sound. Oh, it's moving. Like a lot of the times these old standards move to the key of the 4. That's like super common. That a song will very quickly do some chord progressions in the key of the 1. Let's see. And then go to the key of the 4. So like in Pennies from Heaven, you got this a little bit more complex, like sort of walk up. Was it bum bum ba? Every time it rains. Let's see. No, it walks down. Every time it rains pennies from heaven. What's it? Every time it rains pennies from heaven. And that's all in the key of the 1. There's some extra chords in there. Like extra meaning there are more chords in the little chord progression than are in this song so far. But it's still all in the same tonality. And it's coming back. And then that part repeats. Don't you know every cloud contains pennies from heaven. Shooby-dooby. Now, on the next time, you'll find your fortune fallen. Then we're start to change tonality. So we're start with the dominant chord, the 5 chord, go into the 1 chord. You'll find your fortune fallen all over town, right? That is different than... That moves us to... It's a very related tonality, and I would say it's probably... in our Western pop vocabulary, it's the closest related tonality, which is the 4. So it doesn't sound that chromatic, like compared to going to different key center, like something that's very far away. or chromatically related. So it's very close on the circle of fifths, which makes it sound almost if you're not educated in music or haven't like labeled this and thought about this, it might not even immediately sound like you're really out of the key, because you're barely out of it. And then we go kind of to a little bit more of a chromatic thing. Make sure that your umbrella is upside down. Oh, trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. Shooby dooby. And then now we're going to go back again to the key of the 4. If you want the things you love, you must have showers, right? So when you hear it thundering. So there we're in the key of the 4 and the key of F. If the overall key is C, we've just done chord progressions in the key of F. This one we'll say is related to the key of F. Don't go under a tree. And now we're back to the key of C. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. So we could say that we have chord progressions in the key of C, and then a little bit of chord progressions in the key of F, and then back to chord progressions in the key of C. And that's really useful because although there are 12 keys, the chord progressions in them it's more like reusable shapes, like all the shapes of the game Tetris. You've got the one that's shaped like a L, you've got the one that's a cube, you've got like just the straight line one. And they go together in different ways. But there's only so many of them, and that's true for these chord progressions too. So this is why doing the harmonic analysis and working every day, making your process of learning music and working on music part of, no matter what genre you're into. If you strictly play Baroque music, absolutely you should be doing this too, or romantic music, or any, like regardless of whatever the music is, playing Taylor Swift, all that stuff. It's all it all is built on all of this stuff, and it enriches your ability to create and to enjoy and appreciate, and then just to do. Things stick better when you have a solid labeling system. Okay, so that's the spiel on I just clipped my headphone cable in here. Hang on. I'm gonna do that. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. There we go. So we got this chord progression, and then we're gonna look for the other key centers here. You know what? At this point, I probably can just rotate it. So let's see. Hang on. There we go. Hey, that worked well. All right. Yeah, you guys can see all that. Let me do it like this, though. Okay. It's still working. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep labeling. And like one of the best ways to work on this is just try to find simpler songs and just do it. Like just try to, this is called a harmonic analysis. And you start with, seeing what number is the chord, and then where are the chord progressions and key centers there. So we're back into the key of the 1. So we have 5-1, 5-1. And then now let's see. How are we going to feel this? Fall on your knees. Fall on your knees. That kind of feels like we're in the key of A minor there, like it's not using a typical 5 chord that would be a dominant 7 or even a major. Fall on your knees. Da, 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 da. It really sounds wrong because we all know this tune and how it's supposed to sound. But additionally, it's not written that way. It's using this more kind of modal sort of deal, like the chords from the major scale. So we are going to call this a key center. Let's see. We'll use colors for all these. So you got key centers, and you have chord progressions, and then you have an overall key. If I said that in a better order, but you have an overall key, and then you have chord progressions that are in the various key centers. Okay, so we need a new color. What color should we do? Let's do orange. We'll do orange for the key center of A minor. So we're going to call that 1. And that's a minor 5, which is very rare in this kind of Western music, but there it is. Actually, we're doing all the chords in green. Oh, minor 5, minor 4, and back to minor 1. And then we'll take the orange, and I'll show that that's a key center there. And that's the key center of the 6. So let's put that up here. So in C, 6 equals A minor. And we can do all this same stuff to transpose later, you know, to do more work for it. So let's see, just gotta analyze this very end part here. So we got a 1 and a 5 and a 1 and a 4 and a 1 and a 5 and a 1. And we want to like do and practice in ways that make all this stuff, that build skills so that we can do this spontaneously. So we can be spontaneously creative. And then if we want to take time to work stuff out and make arrangements, we can, and we should, of course. But we also want to have the skills set to be able to make stuff up each day. And this one's back in the key of R1. So we're back to the key of C here because this song is written in the key of C. Although when we transpose it, all this stuff is going to, the Roman numerals will all be true, but the alphabet letters will change, you know. Okay, so there we have our various chords and chord progressions. And that's like, I'm at a point with my skills where I, for the most part, I don't have to write it out and analyze it because I've done a ton of that. And so I've gotten to the point where I don't have to, but I certainly do think about it, you know. And there's certainly still chromatic things and movements and all that sort of stuff that that require me to think them out a little bit more. You think it out, and then you move your body and you practice. And the practice turns that all into muscle memory. And so then you have like, you've got the intellectual thing, you've got the muscle memory thing, and then on top of the two of those, then the creativity can kind of come out. It's like you're building a road, you know, for the creativity to be able to like cruise on. Okay, so that's that part of it. The least fun and exciting, but absolutely necessary here, especially if I want to like start changing stuff, like adding more chords, substituting chords, all that kind of stuff. I absolutely need to know what these chords are. Is it a 5 chord? Is it a 1 chord? You know, all that sort of stuff. If it's a 5 chord, well then I could add a 2 in front of it. I could swap that 5 chord out for something else. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, let me check out the chat real quick. So we got a comment that's the real Christmas Facebook has the song in 6/8. That's cool to know. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's how I feel it. And then Anne says, the theory you bring into this makes it so much easier. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I imagine for people that, you know, don't think like this already, this is like, sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown, you know. But I guarantee this is the way to go about it. So now let's get creative. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I like this feeling. So this is what I'm choosing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sort of thinking about my left hand movements. And the left hand movement at first, I'm going to play with just using different bass notes. So this is kind of like the Frank Morocco style left hand that we've been talking about. Only just a triad. Now we got to go to the 4. So I can start to move the left hand around a little bit if I want. So then, like, you know, moving it. So there I'm moving down. You can hear the scale that I have. Bum dee dee dum. I could continue it. I was starting here, right there, with the dum da dee da dee, and that winds up perfectly because I wound up on F when I should have here. So when I say should have, what I mean is, like, I'll sketch this out a little bit. And this is just like simple. Really, this is like an exercise that I see in a lot of like Hanon and scale books. It's where you're harmonizing the notes of the major scale, which is a wonderful exercise, super usable, super useful for the stradella. I would suggest it to everybody. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but really simple is if you've ever done this exercise where you make the triads of the major scale, so C major and D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. You could say B diminished, but I'm going to say G over B, and then C major. So here I'm doing that essentially. C major, G over B. And then now I'm really starting to do inversions actually. And that's where you take the notes of the scale and you alternate between the 1, the 4, and the 5. So the C chord. So this is, we're thinking of this as the note that we're going to harmonize against. So C with the C chord, B with the G chord, A with the F chord, G probably with a C chord, F with an F chord, E with the C chord, D with the G chord, and C with the C chord. And you get a lot of, because you're just going between those 3 chords that are kind of the core functions of our tonic, our subdominant, and our dominant, you get a lot of pull and move away a little bit, and then resolution. Let's see, so if I could do it from here. What's that? Right? It has this little progression to it. It doesn't exactly feel like our harmonic rhythm of a song, but it certainly we feel this pull in and out of away and back to this tonal center, which is cool. So doing that, I'm doing like C here, and then these are like added passing chords. And so I'm going to go, essentially I'm going to go every 2 beats, I'm going to go down the scale. Like that. So this, on this beat, I have G over B. And then over here, I have F over A. And then I have G. And then I have F. So I wind up where I want to be on that chord change. Bum, da, da, da. That sounds weird. I could do that. Maybe I'm going to do that's an A minor 7. Dum, da, da, dee. That works. That works better. So that's this one. Oops. That eraser is way too large. There we go. So this is going to be C major over A, which is an A minor 7. Dum, dee, da, dum. You feel that? That's nice. It really feels like a little cadence in the key of G. And then it's a bum, da, dee, dum, 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 dum. There we'll have to figure out what's going to be our next movement after the F. But regardless, it works. So now there's a G bass but with a C chord. I could also do a G bass with a G chord. It really sounds a lot different. Let's hear the G bass with the G major chord when we get there. Like that. So I'll put it in. And that does not work there, so I'm gonna have to change that one. Hear that big clash. So we'll figure out something better. We'll figure out something better. Or we'll just ditch this whole thing. But just showing you guys these other movements to make. Otherwise, it's a pretty stagnant motion here, which I think is why a lot of times we hear like, let's see. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bee, ba, bum, ba, ba, dum, da, dee, dee, dum, da, da, ba, ba, dee, dum. Right, and you can do that on the left hand of the piano or a free bass or whatever. And it's a way, it's something that you can do on those instruments, but you cannot do on the left hand on the stradella. I don't know. Let me see. Let me make sure that's true. Let's see. Let me sing it first. Dum, da, da, dee, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da, dee, dee, do, da, da, dee, da. Let's see. Dee, da, da. It doesn't sound right to me. It sounds too weird. I don't know what you guys think. We got a wider shade of pale. Yeah, totally. But they're what do you call it? They're just common devices, you know, used. If we do this, it sounds and feels a lot more like a waltz than it does sort of a 6/8 thing. Bum, bum, ba, dee, ba, dee, dee, dum, da, da. There's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't sound like the groove that I'm used to for this tune. So if we have just this, I want some movement, some motion. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. So I could use the notes of the chord. Right, I could use C as the bass. I could use E as the bass. Bum, dum, ba, dee, ba, dee, dee, dum, da, dee, da, da, dee, dee, dum, da, da, dee, da, doo, dum. And there's a way to exaggerate that. So I could hold the bass down. Dum, dum, da, dee, da, dee, dum, da, dum, da, dee, 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 dum, dee, da, dee, da, doo, dum. A little sloppy, but you get the idea, you know, thinking of orchestrating and bringing things out. That certainly buries it. It's too heavy. But you can hear it a little bit more, and if there's various ways to do it. But just thinking of movement in that left-hand part is something that we could do. Some other stuff we could do is to add right-hand things. On this tune, I don't want to get too jazzy. I want to keep this sort of just open to things that don't require a whole lot of jazz skill knowledge, because we're going to do that on Frosty in a minute. So let's see. So yeah, so just... especially when you change chords, don't use the root. It's so much more interesting. So if I go, I'm going to play where I play the root every time the chord changes. dum dee da dum da bee ba boom da ba do da dee dum dee da dum. Okay, now I'm gonna play. I'll just play the thirds all the time. I'll kind of move it back and forth. So, it's so much more colorful. Now, on all those, it sounded a little too weird to go there all the time. So now I'm going to do sort of a combination, and I might use the fifth also. The fifth is one that I think it's easiest, I think, for people to just move up to the major third. You got your root on the fundamental bass, the major third's the counter bass, easy. And you usually just keep the same finger you were using. The fifth, though, is a different shape, and it's easier to get lost in that left-hand shape. Dee da dum da bee da boom da ba. It's a really different sound, it sounds, all of a sudden it sounds so much more regal or intentional or something. I don't know. They all give you different sounds, and I would say different colors, and then you could, if you move between them, especially when you move chords. So when I go to that F chord, the 4 chord, I'm gonna start with playing the root of the 1 chord. But when I go to the new chord, I'm gonna play the third as the bass, and it's gonna sound more interesting. Dee, da, dee. Right? That has such a different sound than. And then there's ways that we can move that. So we could say, can go to here. So, ba-dum, that's the A going to the G. So we can have these kind of like little movements in there. So I'm going from the third over the A to the fifth over the C. And then resolve it. If I do the same thing, if I start on the third, now I'm going to go to the root of the F. I was trying to get some movement in there. So that's mi, re, do, 3, 2, 1. C over E, G7 over D, and then C over C. Or Three Blind Mice. That's walking up or walking down. And those are great when we have places where you have like a lot of sustained thing, I like the bassoon better. Let's see. Could I get a diminished? It's sounding a little bit more churchy the more stuff I put onto this tune in particular, especially those diminished chords. Okay, so that's some stuff to get your left hand going. I definitely suggest just practice all the possibilities of, or many possibilities of basses. So go through the tune playing only the left hand with the roots. Then go through with only the thirds. And you'll begin to find stuff. And then go through with only the fifths. That that one has the least amount of sort of functional harmony moving in it, but it is still it's still, you get a lot of ideas out of it that way. Okay, so let's see what else. So let's talk about the right hand now. So I think maybe the first thing here would be to, I'll go back to here, use clarinet. So you can see it. Add thirds. Try thirds, and if a third sounds weird, then move the third to a fourth. There. That's not right. So on all of them, the thirds worked except for that one. So I'll do Even that's a little weird. There should maybe be a fourth. That's better. To my ears, that's better. And the reason that is better is it fits the kind of simple sound. And it's both of those places where the third didn't sound right it was the same interval. So it's the root, the melody is the root of the chord. So like here the melody is an F and the chord is an F. And the third below that is a D, which is the sixth, or an A, which is the sixth of C. And that, if we move that down, you get the fifth, which is part of the triad. And so that just sounds sort of more stable and more basic. So those two places, if I was working on this arrangement, I might consider, moving the harmony to a fourth below instead of a third. Let's keep going. Let's see. Same there. So I'm starting here. So most places where I have the root as the melody, I'll want to do a fourth below and not a third. And it's just this sound that we're going for, this real sort of simple sound. If we were doing more of a jazz sound, I don't think we would mind it. It would fit. It would match better. But so pardon me. There, same thing. Melody is a G and the chord is a G, so we want to go to a D. It's okay. It's still kind of vanilla and bland, but it's a start, And often, if you're new to this stuff, just hearing that come out of your accordion is so good, so nice. Something else we could do is harmonize in a sixth, which is harder to see. Really pretty. I think prettier than the third on the accordion. Let's hear it with the left hand. That's pretty. So that's more of a modern sound. It's more dissonant. Because it has this B now is the major 7 of the C chord, but it's nice. I mean, I get like more of a contemporary choral sound. Pardon me. Now I don't have that E. Maybe I should do this up here on the Now what I hear on that dissonance is that should resolve either, you call it like an inner moving part. Or maybe, isn't that so pretty now? So we have two things going on, and you can just like listen to it. It's like a convention. So I'm teaching you a language, or I'm just labeling a language that you've heard in your life of music. So that one, could that move down? It definitely feels resolved. Not as strong as to the root. There you can really feel the pull. But you can play with it. So right? Now there, I started playing with fourths. So now I'm picking intervals which are varied. And sometimes, a lot of times the fourths give this more, I don't know, contemporary sound, more open. So on those A's, let's see, E. Those are fourths there. I can sketch those in. Let me sketch a little bit of this in. So I had a sixth here, which was a G. And there, another G, and another G. And this was a B natural that I moved up to a C. Well, I did an enclosure, so I went B, D, and then to the C. So this is, that's kind of more movement than, I could also go, another common one, although not as good. Better if it's the melody is the E. Or. So we want to look for places where you can add movement and motion, whether filled in the right hand or the left hand. So let's see. There is that sort of enclosure thing around the C, and then here I went to fourths. So D D D. Da no da da dee da ba. And then maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Those are the fourths. That's a fourth here on the C melody, but it's kind of bland. So there I want to do something more colorful. Or, I don't know. That doesn't work either. Maybe I'll just leave that. Leave my index finger on that E. Back to the sixth. Sound really good. That could work. Let's see, now here. If I do a sixth there or a third there, the third just, it sounds boring to me. But the sixth sounds cool. A fourth, much jazzier. That sounds neat. Also thin, but with more weird feeling. And then the sixth, there I have to change it to a D sharp rather, because of the B7. So I'm at the blue Roman numeral 3 on the third line. Da dee do do. Let's see. Just playing around with, I'm kind of playing around with fourth and sixth. The thirds I'm not doing so much, I just don't like them. They just sound really boring. which is not to discourage anybody, and I think you really need to practice your thirds first. Because a lot of this is sort of like chess at the beginning. You know, you got to kind of work it out and then remember to repeat stuff so that your muscle memory can learn to do it. But just crafting it, what sounds better to me here, on this song, the thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices. Those 6 I like a lot better. Now there's a really pretty, more modern sound. Not so good. Now that's 2/4. So fall on your knees. This is a much, but against the A minor triad. So I am here at this place where we got the key center of the 6. So I'm doing 2/3 here, like that. And that's a really neat combination against the triad in the left hand. So that's just a regular A minor. But when you... It's so interesting to really... This is another thing that I think is really beautiful with the accordion is you separate... You have the sound separated from each side, and when it combines, you know, then your head's over the top of it. When it combines, it sounds different than it would if it all came out of like one side, you know, one box. And you can think of them doing 2 different things, which is like obvious, of course, yeah. But harmonically too, because the left hand, if you're gonna do chords in the left hand, they're all gonna be closed position, which means like this, in inversions or whatever inversion they wind up in. You know, whereas on the right hand you can play more open things like in fourths. That doesn't work. Now there I felt that. There's another stack of fourths. That's that first shape again. That might be too modern or too whatever. It might not match or it might work perfectly. I do notice, like one of the things I notice is that like that sound is way different than the sound we started with. Let's see. Which could be cool. It could be like the way... It could be sort of a function of the way that the song evolves, you know? So we start very, very simply and with very, very simple harmonies. Sorry. Right? And then as it develops, now here maybe I'm going to start bringing in fourths. Let's see. So, too much. I think I should have gone to the E minor part. There we go. So I'm like thickening it up also. So adding like a third voice. So let me just sort of, we'll wrap up with this tune and go on to Frosty in a second. But just thinking also of, inside of these cool ideas, there has to be a development of it. So the whole thing is like we're exploring You could use this to shed, various things like, oh, I'm going to play everything with a third below it and just do it, which is a great idea. And just notice where it clashes. Like, that's it clashing. That third I should move, but I'm going to play it anyway. And then there's like the craft of like working out an arrangement, and the arrangement needs to change in some way. Usually it's changing from less to more, from simpler to more complex, from less busy to more busy, from softer to louder. It's not a straight, a straight line up. There's all these sort of subtleties in it, but in general, that's what's happening. And so if I start with a simpler harmony that's based more on just the notes of the triad, sorry. Now here, I'll go to fourths. Now we're moving to the E minor part, which is where I have the blue circle. So now when I get to that E minor part, I'm gonna add a third note in my right hand. So I had the melody note, and then I had, at the beginning I had a sixth under it. And then on the second statement of that, I moved to a fourth. You can feel already that's like less stable. There's dissonance in there. Right? And then what's going to happen here as I go to the E minor, or maybe, so I move into that dark part, like dark meaning minor. Like minor, this is an often used way to use metaphorical languages. Darker sounds in music, that's a very dark sound, a diminished sound, very dark. Or brighter sounds, so major sound, like this is bright, this is probably brighter, this is brighter, even brighter still. Jacob Collier talks about how when you go to the right in the circle of fifths, when you add fifths, C, G, D, you get brighter. You're getting brighter and more expansive and opening. And when you go the opposite way in the left hand, the opposite way, so C, F, B flat, you get darker. Right? You can kind of feel it closing in. Brighter. He can do it on the piano with the two hands. I'll do left hand. Something like that, or F. It feels like it's kind of closing in on you. Anyways, brighter and darker. So if I get sort of darker, this is a... That's the E minor. Now I'm moving back. We're moving out of this area here and back to this tonality of the major. So then I want to sort of reset and like brighten it up again. Maybe I'll try a different melody note or a bass note in the third root. Now we're going back to the minor. And here I'm playing the arrangement that I wrote. Let's see. Let me sketch this out so you guys can see it. We'll do F sharp here and a D. I need a smaller brush. Okay. Let's see, I think there. And then this one is the same as the first one. So these again are fourths. Okay, so fall on your knees. I don't like that. Maybe we put the F. That's cool. I went to the wrong left-hand chord. I didn't quite get that, but like there's something super dramatic about moving, changing the rhythm, the accompaniment rhythm. So if I'm working up this, which gives us this light movement, so it's not so like, I think just otherwise, that is a problem to solve on the left hand of the accordion, is the things that a piano can do, which is arpeggiate, and the things that a guitar can do, which is arpeggiate and also just strum. The accordion doesn't do the same way at all, and it's a little bit more limited there. I mean, it certainly has its advantages, but if we could easily do both, I think we would, but we just can't unless you have free bass, and then even still it's a different thing. So basically what I was looking at here is all of a sudden when I get here, make some big drama by putting in this stopping that the subdivision. You know, and I'm gonna sort of try to pick one of these chords here, one of these that I actually line up with. And I'm gonna wind up, I'm just kind of winging it right now. The first time I started on the 5th, so I started on G, so Z, oh, 9. Let's see, I can't put too many chords in the left hand, or in the right hand under. That doesn't work so much. Let me start on the root, and let's see. On C. Let's see. And I'm to the point now where I'm like, okay, I like the idea. I want to keep like crafting it and see what I could do here. And I would just keep starting on maybe different notes, you know. Like, what if I start on a D instead of a C here? And we have tensions, so. I don't know. I'm getting to where it's like, I'm not hitting it perfectly on any of these 3 ones, but I kind of liked how it got there, especially starting at the top. If I take it back to the key of the 6th, the orange bracket, which is the A minor, E minor, D minor. shoot. But I feel like that big payoff, like it's like it got dark, right? Like dark meaning minor. I won't play the whole thing. Something like that. So that movement I did like, and it took us, it really like, I went through the scale I think twice. I started on the root, and I didn't think too much about, I thought a little bit about like, oh, is it a kind of a C chord or a G chord or an F chord or a G7 chord or whatever. But in general, I tried to keep counter melody going like a third away, so or more. So I have the G. It's kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's like a little bit more art music, you know. It's not a Christmas carol kind of a deal, but it's cool. It's interesting. And then you can come back here. Oh night, right? Take it back to your repetitive rhythm. Kind of just like noodling stuff, but so there, let's see. I don't have this camera on a swivel yet. All right, let me check in with the things here. Okay. Let's see. Gary said wider shade of pale with that thing, and then who is that? Donna Marie. Okay, cool. Simple shifts to remain in the chord. Yeah. Thirds to drop to the sixth rather than open the fourth. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, got some things to think about. And then we got Dobie says, why don't you try going, let's see, why don't you try going up on the scale? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's try up the scale. So the last thing I'll do, I'll go to the same point. Let's see. Let me come out of it from the minor. Here's the D minor. Now I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up the major scale. Whatever. And that also works equally great. You know, you kind of just like listen to it, and it's like this rising. It's a fantastic idea, Adobe. Yeah, it works even better. Maybe. They both work great. I think, you know, it builds it up, and then go back into the groove, you know, even if the groove is this like little gentle 12/8 thing. Okay, cool. So this is good. All right. Now let's do the other tune, which is we're gonna do more in sort of a swing accordion kind of deal. It's Frosty. Let's see. So I gotta go here. Do you guys use iPad for your sheet music? Anybody out there? And Foursquare, and I gotta remember. I gotta get into this habit. Like, I just remembered I should be doing the annotations and stuff on one layer, and then the other markings on another layer. Like, use multiple layers. Anyways, okay, so that's just a 4-score thing. So this tune goes on to 2 pages. Thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump, look. So okay, so the first thing is, let's just do the harmony. So there, let me get my palette here. There we go. Gonna erase that, and then we're in the key of C, and we got a 1 chord and another 1 chord because this is a C, and then we got a 4 chord, then we got a 1 chord, 4, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 1. Now C7 to F. So here's a fundamental thing about harmonies. When you see a dominant 7 chord, it's usually the 5 of something. And so C7 is the 5 of F. So we ask ourselves, okay, if C7 is the 5 of F, like, is it going to an F, to either an F major or F minor? And yeah, sure enough it is. So this is a point at which we're just for a second going into this very, very quick key center here. So we're going to call this a 5-1, and it's going to be in a different key center. So let's see. We used pink for the key center of the 1, so I'll use that again here. So all the way until there, this is the key center of the 1. So if somebody called this tune, hey, do you know Frosty the Snowman in the key of A flat? Yeah, okay. So you got your 1 and your 4. Frosty, Frosty the Snowman. Now I need the 4 chord. Da 4, and the accordion makes it so easy to find the 1, the 4, and the 5. The 4 is just 1 column down. Jolly doo doo dum, ba ba dee doo dee dee doo dee dum dum. 5 is 1 up. Ba dee doo doo dum dum. Right. So now we're gonna put this other key center here. Let's see. We'll use blue. So for this, and this is the key center of the 4, and it goes all the way to there. So I'll put that. Actually, it's major, so I need the capitals here. There we go, just like that. And then we're back to the key center of the 1. So it's not the one I used. This is there. 4, 1. This is like a 5 of the 2. So it's a secondary dominant, and this is a 2-5-1. And then you got 4. Must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Let's go. We'll come to that part in a second, but this is a good double bar line here. There. And let me just put the key center here in the pink. Oh, hang on, guys. Sorry. All this. Let me do that all again using the black. Keep it uniform. Okay, 1, 4, 1. This is the 5 of the 2 chord. That's the 2 chord, that's the 5 chord, and that's the 1 chord. All right, then we'll throw this on here like that. And this is all back to the key of the 1. So we have chord progressions in the key of the 1. The most complex is this one, 1, 6, 2, 5, or 1, 5 of 2. Right? And otherwise it's just 1, 5, 1, 4, 1. And then in the key of 4 we have the 5 to the key of the 5 to 1 and the key of the 4. So pretty easy. And I already know I want to do this as a bumping. Let's see. should be on an F. I hear that. Okay. All right. So now let's jump to another thing. The sixth diminished scale. So this song is in the key of C. So I'm going to use the C major sixth diminished scale. Let's review what that is. It's a scale. Here's the best way to do it. And I have videos on my YouTube channel about this. C, D, E, F, G. Then you got this chromatic note of A flat. And then A, B, C. So it's C major scale. But I got to get back further so you guys can see the whole... Oh no. Okay. Wait. I know what I'll do. I'm going to try to move the camera. I really hope it doesn't get disconnected. I mean, I gotta say, camera, I don't want to jinx it, but it's doing good. It's not overheating. What's in the frame? That's my laptop. So let's see, I gotta get this closer or something. Now it's too low. Let's see. Okay, seltzer break while I think about this. Gotta have my eyes at least. Let's see. Here. Do this one. Maybe that's better. Yeah, okay. That's the shot. Okay, so the sixth diminished scale is so useful. So that's me harmonizing. But the notes of C, E, G, and A, and C all get harmonized with a C major 6. And the other notes, D, F, A flat, and B, all get harmonized with a B diminished. And then you just alternate. So it becomes C major 6, B diminished. C major 6, B diminished. C major 6, B diminished. So, let's see. So that E, that's the B diminished. So C major 6 for Frosty is another C major 6. And then this one here is going to be a B diminished because it's that note. So you got and then same here. So really, I'll just, you know what? I'll pick that ugly green color. And I'll just sort of put parentheses around the ones that I'm going to put some sort of diminished sound on. Now I can't do it here because that one is now going to match up to the F major chord. But I will do it here, I think. Well, I'll circle it so you guys can see. So here we go. Now here, if the chord wasn't an F, I would, well, it depends on what the chord is, but I'm going to do like this just as a F major 6. I guess I could do that one. Because really, if we transpose this to F, we should do the same thing there, but there's no B natural in that scale. So if we want to pick it would be like a E diminished. Let's hear what that sounds. F major 6, F major 6, E diminished. And with the left hand, I don't really like it. I think I'm gonna do the B diminished there on that. Let's see. And this one, I really hear this moving to like an A7 here. And that's the other thing when you're working out your music, especially from a chart, if you're not like working it out from your head, or from a record, or somebody's teaching it to you, then you gotta kind of take what's on the chart and then what's in your head and reconcile those, change it. Like what's in your head is probably right. Trust yourself. So this would be like let's see, button nose. It could go there, or it could go the diminished version of that, which is a C sharp diminished. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. So we get a ton of mileage out of these like basic 6 chords using the 6th diminished scale. Should I sketch it in? Yeah, let's do that. So anybody that wants to watch this back, that's like a C6, and then this is a C6 too, or also. And then this one is, let me erase that. It'll take me too long to do all of it. I'll do the first line though, so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'll kind of put their names there. So that's C6, and that's, let's see, we'll do purple. A C6 and a C6, and this is going to be a B diminished. B fully diminished, and then back to C6. So that one. And as you know, as new and challenging as this is, you can always what was I gonna say? Start simple with the scale. I'll talk about that if you're interested. Like, I really suggest learning this stuff. Learning these 6 diminished scale things. It does, there's a learning curve to it. It doesn't come immediately, but it comes. And let's see, what did I do there? So get the little purple chord names. C6, C6. So you can see like here is just inversions of C6. So Frost, that's with the G on the top. D is C6 with the E on top. That's not a C6, that's the B diminished, but with F on the top. And you could call it, if you know anything about diminished chords, like the same 4 notes, like this could have, it might be correct to call it a B diminished, or a D diminished, or an F diminished, or an A flat diminished. From my way of understanding harmony, the correct way to call it in the key of C is a B diminished. So I call it that, and just inversions of that. But if it's helpful for you to think of it as the F diminished, call it that. And then we're back to C6 with the G on top. Snowman. And then man has C on the top, and it's a C6 chord. And then was, that's going to be our B diminished. So B diminished. And then the is back to a C6. So let's see, we had this one. And that's not easy, but you'll get it. And let's see, other tips. You can't really see, but keep your hand really like gliding and resting on the tops of the keys. So now we got, this is where you got to change a little bit. So you got to go, okay, F major is the tonality here. So I need my chord to be some sort of F chord underneath it. I might just do that. So that's just like a D minor. And then this is a typical keyboard player thing. Just move the top voice. Let's see. I'm into more of these drop 2 voicings lately. I don't know. Let's just keep it not too complex. So this is, I'm just gonna keep these 3 notes underneath. That's what's going on. Those. Let's see. I'll zoom in here. So these notes underneath are the same, and this one, the melody note, just sort of resolves there. So that's like, I don't know, you could call it a cheating thing or a pragmatic thing or whatever. Now this one, we want to have that diminished sound in there. And a lot of times, like, what you'll find really is that you have this formula of like, okay, it's either the C6 or the B diminished, but the more diminished that you add, the cooler it sounds. And then you can do other things where you have like not quite a full diminished, but you have something like where the note is extended out. In this case, this is not technically, to use a B diminished here is not what we should be doing. Oh, that's cool. Okay, if I squeeze this, ooh, that's nice. I've got the Apple Pencil Pro, and I'm learning to use. This is the most I've used it in Fourscore, is today, because I've just been really using it to journal, which has been really awesome. I've been doing tons of journaling since the ketamine sessions. It's been like my main avenue for like just checking in and kind of doing those good things for my self-care. And so I was like, I'm gonna try this iPad for just journaling instead of having all these notebooks, and it's great for it. But now also I'm using it for sheet music. Where were we at? B diminished. Okay, so here. So this is where's my purple? This is like an F6, and that's an F6. And then we're gonna do like I'll just say an F diminished, because F diminished makes sense to my brain since the harmony there is F. And it is. I mean, the same notes, you could call the same notes a B diminished or an F diminished. Now I just got to throw a natural sign in there. And then this will be like a... And then this one is an anticipation of the next chord, which is this, what takes us back to the key of C. So we definitely want to play a C chord there, a C6, and not an F6. That'll sound weird. So F6 and then to C6. And like I said, I don't want to write out all of them because it'll just take too long. But yeah, so that's it. And then just to talk about some other cool stuff, this is the closed position. We could play around with the open position. So a drop 2. Now drop 2, I'm working on. I can't do that fast, but I'm trying to get it in there more and more. It's very cool. And it's what our greats played, you know, Art Van Dam and Frank Morocco and those guys. We think these huge hands, which is true, but it's more about just needing to stretch and really just being able to get your brain to label and work on it, intellectualize, and then really your nervous system is the thing that's going to remember it. So in this case, I'm going to try taking the 2 of the drop 2. I'm going to drop the 2, which is the E, down the octave. So now the E is at the bottom of the voicing. That sounds great. As opposed to this. There's more noise in there. The accordion has the potential to have a lot of noise from all the overtones clashing. Sounds huge. Now it could be that one or this one. This is a little hard for me. Let's see. So I'm going to do the E. I got it. Okay, I cannot do that fast at all, but I can do it slow. Now let's see. It's so cool. Now we gotta go to the Now this one really fits that. Let's see. Yeah. And then it repeats. So I can't do that. I'll check in with you guys in a few months. But it's great, and I can do it sometimes, you know. Let's see. Just trying to get some more movement going on in there, which was not successful, but as like you want to practice your creativity and try to ask yourself, what else could I hear here, you know? And like we have the three places to think about is what could my melody be doing, right? And so far we talked about our melody could be harmonized with these cool jazz chords in this case, and on the other one we talked about sixths and fourths and thirds and other stuff, simpler melodies, or harmonized rather, which we could do here. Let's see. Right, sort of that like that. And then what could our bass be doing, right? So we didn't really talk about the bass here yet. Then we got it. We could get some movement there, but it's probably too much. So if I have the let me point this one a little bit better. Again, don't break the glass. Here we go. There. So that just provides this nice thing. This is giving us so much information. It's so full of character that more stuff in the left hand, I think, is just going to clutter it up. So, and I'm just playing a simple C major chord button and the bass, and that's just like a real simple rhythm. Now there, I just hear in my head, where was that? Here. I hear something different than what's written here. I hear a 3-6-2-5. So E minor, 7, A7, D minor 7, G7. And that's 3, 6, dominant, 2, 5. And then what I really did was I did a tritone sub. So this one I actually played E flat 7, which is flat 3, and the G7 I kept as a G7. Or I could do a D flat. That's cool. look at the chart a little bit more. So these are things where the melody, like if we go to this measure here, my left hand, right? E flat, D, G, or E, A, D, G. Right? You can add those in there. Theoretically, I'm not doing a great job of it, but I hear it. I gotta know the song better, you know, and these chords better to bust it out. But again, like we're playing with the song, we're getting to know the song, hopefully memorize the song, and you know, practice, express ideas, and the creative part, which is like you have this feeling like this an idea, you know, or it just comes out of you, and then you hear, and sometimes you go, that was just a bad idea, there's no reason to follow that further, or that was a good idea, I didn't execute it exactly like I want, let me keep, you know, crafting it, keep working with it. And let's see, and so another reason that this is great is because it just breaks up the left hand. So if we only heard Frosty the Snowman, boom, ba-dee-doo-dee-dee-doo, and that never stopped. But it's kind of nicer. Bum bum ba-doo bay, ba-boo bee bee bum, ba-ba-dee ba-doom ba-doo bee bum, ba-ba-dee boo bee bum. Or so there, I'm starting to put in fives before the F, like a C7 before the F chord that's not in the song, or a G minor 7 C7 before the F chord, as a way of creating harmonic motion to set up that 4 chord, which is cool. Let's see, what else was I gonna put in there? Bum, dum, da, da. Ah, yeah, okay. Well then, so all right, so you have the bottom of your thing. Now, if I don't do the chords, if I do single note melody, see. It just seems like there's too much space there. It feels too empty to me. So there's places that I want to do maybe a fill. That's way too... It does not match. Like, one of the things that I think a lot about, like, or I kind of metabolize into a statement of, like, an explanation of what's wrong with it, is it doesn't match. It's like too double time, too crazy. It's like, what just happened? Like, you know, it doesn't match yet. If it got to that point, or if it was really crazy, like super double timey already, then that would match and it wouldn't sound so schizophrenic or something, but it doesn't, coming out of nowhere. So or maybe I That's a nice one. So that's a thing. Now also with a single note melody, now I could take a look at moving the left hand around. Maybe something like that, or even if I can get to an E diminished. Let's see. I'm not sure if that'll work, but over here, up here on the harmony, let's see, I'll sing it first. Frosty, that works, but this works too. Or could I do Frosty the Snowman? Nah, I don't like that. Frosty the Snowman. That doesn't work really. I'm trying to find a way to get to like with like an E bass over a C chord would be cool there. Let's see. I'm getting a little off, guys. Not off, just like I'm starting to get real. Okay, so some fills and stuff, which could be. It could be under your melody hand, if it's a single note. Throw a chord in there. Let's see. I hear a G there. That's what I really hear there. I hear an F sharp diminished to a C over G. It's that take me root for the game. That's like such a classic. And I dropped my Apple Pencil. Where did it go? I didn't see it. It's here somewhere. All right, let me check in with the chat. Okay, can I read this stuff? Going up, iPad. I can't read the other two. Let's see, what does that say? I've been waiting to get some sort of tablet for music, but not yet. Okay, cool. Yeah. I worry that hot licks will melt Frosty. Very funny, Birdie Wooster. Yeah, don't melt your Frosty. Yo, fried ice cream though, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did TGI Fridays revolutionize affordable family meals? Okay, so yeah, so filling it in that way, left hand movements. Frosty the Snowman. Let's see. Snowman. So little like transitions to get to the 4 could work. And then you can just have ornaments. Especially rhythmic embellishment. Not good. Not good. So there, I'm either starting a little bit later on the and. 1. And Frosty the Snowman was the beep, 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 boom. Or you anticipate it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's an anticipation there. And then you can do all sorts of repeated stuff. Right? All that kind of stuff is great. That's sort of rhythmic embellishment ideas. Ornamentation. Or some more. So those were mostly grace notes with a little bit of blues fills in there. I could do more chromatic. Okay. Yeah. And then you combine the two. Or the three. Let's see. So there I am going back and forth, you know, starting with chords and then moving to single melody and back to chorus. Let's see. Maybe that's out. Let's see. Let me try that again. Because I want to do chords there and then back to a single note. It's almost like a big band and a singer or something, or a big band and an instrumentalist. So. I'm not sure. I kind of got lost, but you know, you can like play back and forth and get so much variety and change. It becomes really more interesting, and then you start to have like sort of a concept for even what's going on, like thinking about the various things. Let's see. Let's see. Bum, bum. That's hard. Orchestration, putting things in different parts, different hands, all that cool kind of stuff. All right. Well, our 2 hours are up. Let's see. Let's do a final check-in with the chat. I like, you know, repetition of idea, and you can even have a concept, you know, like an approach, but the second that you actually start doing it, let me elevate this again. you have like exceptions to stuff, exceptions to your rules. So I will tell you that, let's see, next week we're going to do some more tunes. I think, I'm not sure exactly what, but I like the format of doing one that's like a simpler tune, like a simpler carol or something, and then one that's either I can make more jazzy like Frosty or just is more jazzy. So I think next week we'll do the jazz one should be the Christmas song, because that one's just a really great tune with a lot of jazz harmonies. And I'm not sure what the simple one will be. It'll be, you know, I don't know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Maybe that's a good one. More upbeat. Yeah, that's a good pairing actually, because yeah, and then so we have like one medium tune and then one ballad. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. That'll be cool. We'll talk about the left hand and stuff to that. And then, so there's 5 totals, because we started last week. Then we have this week, and the next week is going to be that, the Christmas song and Rudolph. And then the next week I'm going to do Krampus harmonies, which is minor key songs. So we'll talk about that. That's where we'll do O Hanukkah's in a minor key. Let's see. We Three Kings. There's a number of them that are in minor keys. So we'll get into minor key tunes for Krampus style harmonies, and then the next one after that is Christmas Eve, and that's gonna be that we're just gonna like do. There was one of the years that we had a really great holiday one, so I'm just gonna find a bunch of versions of stuff, and I'm calling on all you guys to send me accordion Christmas music YouTube videos that are cool, that are good, and we'll listen to those, and then we'll kind of celebrate that on Christmas Eve. That'll be really fun. Yeah, that should work. Actually, shoot, I'm just thinking, I have a gig in Manhattan on Christmas Eve, and I'll be on the East Coast, which makes it later. Actually, you know what? If anything, I'll just do it in the morning. We'll just do the live stream earlier that same day. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. Okay, final check of the chat. Let's see. iPads. What is this? Birdie says, I worry that oh, it's going to melt Frosty. Yes, that's right. And Birdie's gracious, Anna's gracious. You guys are welcome. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and you can always find these replays on my YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel for Rising Reed, and then click live, and you'll see it all.